People have always asked whenever I'm doing something like, why do you do this? Like, okay, so I've talked about my story in different capacities. I've written about it on blog posts or like Facebook messages. But I find that I've been in the fitness industry for about 6 years, between either being an athlete or as a coach as well. I've been running marathons for 8 years now. I've been running for, oh God, like 13, 14 years. So, I kind of have that knowledge background, but a lot of people have always asked whenever I'm doing something like, why do you do this? Like, why do you put yourself through so much stress, or just put yourself in these positions where, like, mentally, what do you do to get through it? And a lot of times people think I'm joking when I said it, but they'll ask on my long runs, like, what do you think about? And I'm like, I'm praying most of the time. And not just to get through it, but just like other people in my life, those I care about, those I love. But the thing is my story starts, well, I'm 27 years old, so really 27 years ago. But I'm going to give you kind of the short version. I'm 27. By the time I was 20 years old, 3 of my siblings had already passed away. And every time I've always talked about this subject, I've always just kind of skirted over it, or I've brought it up and then I quickly move on to something else, just because it's hard to talk about that. And so for me, when each sibling passed away, it hit me differently. But by the time the third one passed, I just kind of came to this point of, what's the point? Like, why should I be able to go on and they can't? And that's always that's always bothered me, and that's always frustrated me. So when it happened when I was 20, I kind of just went off the deep end. Like, I hit rock bottom. And when I say I hit rock bottom, like, I was a sophomore in college. I think I was a sophomore in college, and I completely just went away from, my beliefs, my morals, just anything that I thought. I was like, there's no point to this anymore. And so there was probably a year to 2 years almost where I just kind of gave up. I still ran in things during that time, but it didn't matter. Within like a few months, I went from 130 pounds, I'm 5'7.5", to almost 200 pounds, just because I was drinking all the time. I was partying. I was putting my life, I wasn't putting my life anywhere. I'd given up. So I don't talk about those things lightly, because I know the feeling of being lost. I know the feeling of not knowing if there's a point anymore. And so those thoughts and those feelings, they cut deep inside, and they stir you, and it's something that you don't ever forget. People say not to regret. I have a lot of regrets during that time period, and you can't take that back. You can't. But you can move forward, and you can change what the future will be. You can change how the outcome will be. So I don't know if that makes any sense right now. Trying to stop myself from crying. But anyway, so when I talk about rock bottom, or when I talk about like bring yourself, I know what that feels like. I know what it's like, and I've dealt with those type of feelings for a very, very long time. Things that when my first sibling passed away, I was 8 years old, so those feelings started early on in life, very early. And so it's something that you deal with, you learn how to deal with it. And for me personally, my faith, if it weren't for my faith, I don't want to imagine where I would be. And another thing is when I finally came out of just that point of feeling like there was no return, that point of deep, dark sorrow, and that point of just self-sabotage, I remember I was on a run, and I just kind of stopped mid-track. It's like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing with your life? And it hit me that to honor them, even though they're not here, to honor them is the best memorial, is the best way to live my life. And in that, I'm not only able to honor them, but I'm able to give back to others. I'm able to relate with others, and I'm able to help others, and able to talk to them and be like, I've been there, I know what it's like. And it's not a pretty place, but we can come out of it, and there's always something better on the other side. That's just a small piece of 27 years that I've kind of come to that realization on, and throughout my videos and stuff, I'll talk about just other aspects of my life and things that I've dealt with, and how not too long ago I had to give my daughter CPR last year after she had a febrile seizure. So there's been a lot of things that have brought me to where I am today. A lot of building in strength and weakness, and so for me, that's something I just kind of wanted to relay back to y'all, wanted to put in a video so that you could kind of hear it from my perspective rather than just reading it on your own terms, or reading it where you think you get the gist of it, if that kind of makes sense. So anyway, yeah, so maybe someone out there, you've been in that dark place, you've been in that position where you feel like you can't come out of it, and so just know that there is hope. Keep going. Find a reason, find that stronghold. Like I said, for me, my faith is huge in my life, and so just that knowing that there is something better on the other side, it gives me a peace and a comfort that really does surpass all understanding. So I'm not here to preach at you, I'm just giving you a piece of me, because you can't really trust others unless you kind of get back from them. Being in the fitness industry, I know what it's like for somebody to come in that's brand new and fresh, and they want you to change or help them in their life. And so it's kind of hard to put that trust into somebody else unless they kind of give you a piece of them. So this is me kind of laying it all out there. I'm a huge supporter of just being transparent and just telling it like it is in your life, and letting other people know what you've been through and what you've had to go through and overcome. So you never know how your story is going to impact somebody else, or how your trials are going to add to your own testimony, but also how it's going to help to change somebody else. So I hope that in some way this has uplifted you, this has brought you out of something that maybe you can see, hey, I'm not alone in it, I'm not the only one. And every single day there's some part of that day where I struggle with the thoughts of, oh, well, my siblings don't know what their niece is like. They weren't there for these parts of my life, or these tidbits. And that's something that, no, you shouldn't have to go through. It's very unnatural and unsettling when you think of your sibling not being a part of your life. And so for me, it's been hard and difficult in all different aspects. It affects relationships, especially with family, just because you don't know how to navigate those waters, and you don't know how to build, and it gets difficult. It gets difficult in that, and with friendship. You push away so many people that you don't want to push away, that you don't intentionally push away. I've done it to so many people, and it's never been my intention, but it's something that I have to overcome. I have to learn and work through, and I try on a daily basis to remind myself of that. So we all have those parts of our life that we have to work through, we have to overcome, but we can do it together. There's a unity in struggle. There truly is. Struggle is something that we all face, and it unites us on that, but together we can overcome it. So I hope that maybe this is bless somebody, touch somebody, and you don't feel alone in your struggle. Have a wonderful Friday. I hope you have a blessed and safe weekend, and thanks for watching and listening. Mwah.